Hi guys and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will be talking about Season 4 and I will explain what you can do in order to make quite a lot of gold during the first few days of this new season. So Season 4 will be launched tomorrow on Wednesday, and even though this is not a crazy new season, most of the different items are already in the game and most of the things you will be able to do are things we were already able to do back in Season 3. But still, as you will see, there are a few things you can do in order to make some gold. So let's start with number one, and this is something that will only be good for, I would say, maybe a week or at least like a few days. And it's simply doing some PvP in order to get your hands on the new BoE plants and recipes, especially the green ones that you will be able to then sell on the auction house, or also you will be able to use them in order to craft these different BoE PvP items. So the reason why this is still something that will be good in Season 4 is simply because these different items will be updated again with these new plants and recipes. And so the different green BoEs you will be able to craft from these different PvP items will be both the highest probably high level items you will be able to buy and sell on the auction house in terms of armor pieces, and also for PvP these will be very useful. So for this reason, a lot of people are going to be trying to buy some of these different plants and recipes early in Season 4 in order to start crafting all these different items either for themselves or to then sell them on the auction house. So really all you have to do for this one is to simply go in the PvP group search and you want to do any of these different random PvP arenas, anything, and you will have a chance of getting some of these different plants and recipes from the victorious contenders strong boxes. And keep in mind, you don't need to have any specific profession in order to get a chance at getting some of these different BoE plants and recipes. So this is definitely something that I would say is going to be valuable during the first week, maybe first few weeks of Season 4. And keep in mind, while you're doing that, you will also get a lot of different honor and conquest points, which is always useful whether you want some of the different PvP rewards or buy some of the different armor pieces with these different points. Now at number 2, we're gonna still be talking about these different green PvP BoEs, and the thing you want to do is simply craft them and sell them on the auction house. So here, not all of them are going to be super interesting for a long period of time, but for instance, if you manage to get the different plants from jewel crafting in order to craft the ring and the necklace, you will be able to most likely sell them and make a lot of gold. So also what I would personally recommend you is if you are amongst the first people in your region, and so here I don't mean only your realm, but your region, to get your hands on these different plants and recipes and to be able to start crafting them, then what you can do is craft a bunch, and just by using the free cross-realm trading, if you have over characters on our realm, you can go and sell them on all these over realms. And especially again, if you manage, for instance, to get your hands on the ring, the necklace, and maybe even the cloak, you will be able to get a lot of sales, trust me. So if you're interested in trying to buy some of these different plants and recipes early in Season 4 and start crafting all these different items, what I would recommend you to do is simply go on the Undermine Exchange, as you can see, and here you want to tap Combatant, and you will be able to see all the different plants and recipes for all the different professions, and then you can click on them and see where they are the cheapest. So like that, as you can see, you will be able to go and add the information for each realm, and here you will be able to see where you can find the cheapest version possible. So let's say, for instance, you're interested in the ring and necklace, you want to click here, and you will be able to then go here and have a look at where currently some of these different items are being sold for a cheap price. And then again, if you have a second account or you can ask a friend, you can go buy the item on that realm and then send it back to the realm where you have your crafter, and then you can start crafting all these different items. This is of course also a good way for you to know where to sell all these different items, because then you can click on the different armors and you can see where, for instance, some of these different items are not really being sold in high quantity or where the value is still very high, and like that you can target realms in order to see where you can sell all these different crafted items. Now at number 3, we will have something that is specific to Inscription, and it will still be linked to these green PvP BoEs, Basically, as soon as season 4 starts, so tomorrow on Wednesday, you can go and talk to that guy in the PvP quartermaster inside of our Dragon. And as you can see, you will be able to buy the different recipes in order to craft the 3 PvP trinkets, and you will be able to buy them with some awakened ires. So this is something I would recommend you to do as soon as you log in if you have a character with Inscription. And keep in mind, if you don't have a character with Inscription, you can always just learn the profession and upgrade it, and probably in just half an hour you will be able to craft these different trinkets in the maximum rank. And then you can simply sell these different trinkets on the auction house. And as these are trinkets, they do sell super well as well. I'm only putting them at number 3 because as this is something very easy to do and that a lot of people are aware of, sadly, after just a few days, probably the number of these trinkets on the auction house is going to be very high and the value is going to start to drop. But if you are, again, amongst the first few people doing it, then most likely you will be able to get some pretty good sales. Now, at number 4, what I would recommend you to do is to try and farm some of the fated BoEs from the Vault of the Incarnates. So the Vault of the Incarnates raid, which was the raid from Season 1 of Dragonflight, will be available for the 2 next weeks or the 2 first weeks of Season 4 in fated difficulty. And during these 2 weeks, you will be able to farm all the different raid BoEs from this raid with a fated difficulty. So it means that they will have a really high eye level. And so these different BoEs will sell for a lot of gold on the auction house. So I believe you will only be able to farm all these different BoEs up to Heroic, because after that, probably the ones in Mythic will be bind when picked up for now. But even the Heroic ones will still be super good. So here, all you have to do really is to go in the group search, and when you go there, you want to go in the raids Dragonflight and just type farm or BoE, something like that. And usually you will have some groups available. Keep in mind, of course, you will need to have a pretty decent eye level, because especially if you're trying to do it in heroic difficulty, people are not going to invite you if you have a very bad eye level. So sadly, it's going to be the only downside of this farm. And also, of course, this is purely based on luck. So sadly, sometimes you're going to do this farm for 3-4 hours and not get any single BoE. And also sometimes in one run, you will be able to get 2 of them. And then keep in mind, you can probably sell them for 500,000 gold to 1 million pretty easily, especially if you manage to get the ring. Now, at number 5, I want to talk about flipping these different items that we talked about so far. So for instance, all the different raid BoEs and also the different PvP plants and recipes. So here, I think especially the plants and recipes, you will be able sometimes to find some for 1000 gold, something like that. And then you can sell them back very easily for 200, 300,000 gold, depending on which pattern or recipe you have. So really keep an eye on that. Just monitor through your auction house. You can also go, of course, on the Undermine Exchange website, but try to see if there are any of these different very cheap auctions that you can buy and then resell for a lot of gold. Same, of course, with the different raid BoEs, but for these ones, I would recommend you to maybe wait a little bit, because during the first few days, probably the value is going to be super high, and so you will only be able to start finding some cheap auctions maybe after 1 week in Season 4. But still, keep an eye also on these different BoEs, because sometimes some people are just not very patient and they want some gold very fast, and they're willing to sell some of these items for a cheaper price. And obviously, I would always recommend you to try and sell all these different items that are very expensive on high pop realms, simply because if you're playing on a low pop realm, maybe you will find a customer, but it's going to be way more difficult. And also you will probably have to wait a few more days when the value is going to start to drop. So as soon as you have some of these different BoEs or also patterns and plants and everything, try to sell them on high pop realms. The last thing that I want to mention is, of course, the fact that with this new season, a lot of players will be able to upgrade their different crafted gears and everything. And so you just want to monitor the different crafting orders, because you might be able to make a few sales and a little bit of gold like that. Again, it's not going to be drastic, but still, you will probably be able to make some gold. So even if you're like me, someone who is really not a fan of the crafting orders or of any crafting items in Dragonflight, I would still recommend you to have a look because you might be able to make some quick gold with that. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Sadly, there's not really more that I can mention because then there's not new transmog items that are BoEs, there's no new BoE mount, there's not new BoE materials or crafted items or anything like that. So again, these are going to be the main activities I would recommend you to focus on, and you will still be able to probably make some pretty nice gold if you manage to be amongst the first people crafting some of these different items or farming and selling some of these different plants and really good raid BoEs. So I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos, and in the meantime I wish you all a great start of season 4. Bye!